morning, good afternoon, good evening. Many of us who have been following the elections in Uganda would know that those elections will never, ever be considered free, fair, and credible, given the level of violence against the opposition, orchestrated by the police, the very men and women were supposed to be keeping the peace, were the ones who are responsible for the violence. This has become a sickening repetition of elections, not only in Uganda, but in many other African countries. And so tonight, when some of us saw this video of the opposition leader in Uganda acknowledging defeat, it wasn't surprising.
My fellow Ugandans, tonight I address you with a heavy heart, but an unwavering spirit. Although the 2026 election results do not reflect what we believe to be the right results, I accept them for the sake of peace, stability, and national unity. To all who stood firm with us, your voices were not in vain. I extend my sincere congratulations to the victorious NUP members of Parliament, and I urge all our supporters across the country to remain calm and peaceful. I therefore call upon all Ugandans to remain patient as we communicate the next course of action.
Those were brave words indeed. Many people on the social media commented that you must have read that statement under duress. I can't rule it out. It's quite possible. What I cannot accept is some of the social media pundits comparing Bobi Wine with Nelson Chamisa. That is outrageous. As far as I know, Uganda has never had the opportunity to implement the democratic reforms to end the Museveni dictatorship. We can't say the same thing about Zimbabwe. Our opposition, MDC-CCC, had the golden opportunity to implement reforms and end the Zanu PF dictatorship. They did not. Because during the GNU, when they had the best opportunity to do so, Mugabe bribed the leadership with the trappings of high office, including the E-Class Mercedes-Benz, the very generous salaries and allowances all round, and for Tsvangirai himself, the $4 million mansion in Highlands. And we've since learned that they also got farms and cash. The amount of information out there is overwhelming. We can no longer pretend that the opposition in Zimbabwe is anything other than a Zanu PF Team B, playing for Team A to win and for Team A to have political legitimacy. How then can you compare it with the situation in Uganda? The two are totally different. I think one of the problems with Zimbabweans is our failure to accept reality. Well, the reality is our opposition, such as it is, have become so corrupt and incompetent. They're no longer fighting in the people's corner to dismantle the Zanu PF dictatorship. They've accepted the dictatorship. They are fighting for their share of the spoils of power. And Zanu PF has been very quick to exploit that weakness. The regime knows that it doesn't matter how flawed the electoral process becomes, the opposition will participate in those flawed elections, no matter what. We cannot deny that Chamisa lied to the people, telling them that he had plugged all the vote rigging loopholes to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections, when in reality, he had not done any such thing. And one of his Triple C leaders who did contest in the 2023 election is the one who posted this comment, admitting that Chamisa did not only fail to plug the vote rigging loopholes, he failed to even deploy election agents at all the polling stations, even though he had been given the money to do so. He used the money to buy farms, cattle, and even cars, according to Chilton Wende. These are realities. That statement has been issued a long time ago. If Chamisa knew that was a lie, he had enough time to dispute it and present the evidence. He did not. Why? Because it's true. He knows it is true. Chamisa told the people of Zimbabwe that he was going to win the 2023 elections. Hashtag God is in it. He even invoked the name of God. It was God's plan. But again, as we know, he was lying.
Makorokoto Zimbabwe nokuti hakuna munhu anomira kana denga raronga plan. Denga raronga plan, denga harifo iri. Plan ya Mwari haifo iri. Ini ndatanga kugadzira cabinet. There is no way we are not going to form a new cabinet. There is no way we are not going to have a celebration. There is no way we are not going to have an inauguration. Let's start preparing for our inauguration. Let's start preparing for our celebration.
Well, we do know that he was lying. I'm just disappointed by the number of Zimbabweans out there who even now refuse to accept that Chamisa lied to them. And for our friends in Uganda, I hope someday you will get your opportunity to implement the democratic reforms and end this cycle of rigged elections and bad governance. It is tragic that a nation should find itself stuck in the rut. Yes, as much as some people have said, well, Uganda has developed under Museveni, well, may well be true. But how do we know that Uganda was achieving its maximum potential under his rule? If he was so confident of what he was doing was in the best interest of the country, why is he, for the last 40 years, stubbornly refused to give the people of Uganda their right to a meaningful say in the governance of the country? I've said on this platform, and I'll say it again, the right to free, fair, and credible election is more than a right. It is the essence of good governance. We in Africa, God knows, we have suffered the consequences of bad governance for decades, for some of us. We can do with good governance for a change. The case of Zimbabwe, we have had a number of opportunities, the best of which was during the GNU, to implement the reforms and end the Zanu PF dictatorship. We did not make the most of that opportunity. We wasted it. And pretending that Chamisa and company are somehow going to deliver the democratic change is not helping us at all. Because, like I said, Chamisa and company are Zanu PF Team B, playing for Team A to win and for Team A to have legitimacy, and thus perpetuating the dictatorship. I think we need to come to our senses and realize what is going on here and seek meaningful and lasting political change in our country. We owe it to ourselves and posterity. Think about it.